Alright, so I was putting the torque converter bolts in the car up at the drive shaft end, and it started raining real bad on me, so that's okay, because I'll come in here and I'll work on these fuel rails. Now, I had some red fuel rails, and I ordered the 6AN orb, the 8AN orb. Those fuel rails say God's snow on them, and I looked up online, and all of them said 6AN or 8AN orb. Well, 6AN or 8AN orb wouldn't fit them in the ends here. So I guess it's some kind of MPT. So I done ordered all the parts. I didn't have the brackets for them fuel rails anyway. So I ordered these. They were like 50 bucks on eBay. They're the VMS Racing. And they got the 8AN and the 5/8 inch hole. So those will support a massive amount of horsepower. And then it's even got ports down here that you can tap off of. Sure, we can find some use for that for sure. Those definitely need to be tightened up, but I'm gonna see how the 8AN orb fittings fit in here. Look at that. That's perfect fitting. 8AN orb, just right. So what we're gonna do is this is the I forget what size, 3/8 I think is the feed line. So for now, I'm just running the stock lines because we're going to be running on motor and nitrous for now. The stock line will go to there. It'll come up, and I'm just have a bridge right here, and it'll come down, and then it'll go to the regulator, and then out the regulator down the bottom, it's going to go to a flex fuel sensor, and then it's going to go to the return. And that's pretty much how we're going to set that up. Here's the regulator we're going to be using. It's got 8AN ports on each side, and then it's got a 6AN port on the bottom. And this is all PTFE hose and fittings that we're going to use. Got these 8AN barb to 8AN fittings that's going to go on each end of the fuel rod. Alright, so I got it all mocked up a little bit. So this is the driver's side. My stock fuel rail, fuel line will hook right here. It'll come down through here, and we're going to bridge over, go down this side, and then this will come back to the regulator, and this will be hooked to the stock return line. And then when I do get a turbo, then I can put one of these 8AN to orb fittings on here, a 90, and then run a 8 all the way back to the tank. Same thing here. I can just take this off and then run a 6 all the way back to the tank. So 8 feed, 6 to the tank. That's when we start getting the turbo set up. But for motor and nitrous, this will be fine for now. So I've never messed with PTFE hose before, but this slid right on. It don't slide right on when you do the rubber kind, the non-PTFE kind. I've done that kind before. Now apparently there's this metal sleeve, and I guess this goes, see, it's beveled, it goes this way, so the line will be there and the beveled side would, it goes around the plastic, around the outside of that plastic hose, but on the inside of the frayed part. So I'm going to try to stick that up in there. Well, I've got it, looks like it's all the way up in there. I had to tap on it with a block of wood to get it to go in there, and then I tapped on it with a block of wood to get it straight. But yeah, man, this is, if I'm doing this right, this is a lot easier than messing with the regular hose. Alright, so then we've already got this piece on there. So I guess now we'll just stick that down in the hole. Just like that. All the way down. And then this will come down, and we're going to have to force it with both hands so it gets to the threads. Well, that didn't take much force at all. Now we just tighten these two up together. Well, that's a lot easier to deal with, but looking at it and having done that rubber hose, this part, when you do the regular rubber hose, it's hard to, it doesn't have this flared in on it. It's hard to hold the fray and get it up in the hole on the regular kind. I don't know if y'all have ever seen that, but this PTFE hose, it's a lot easier to work with. And you got to have this for E85, and we're going to be running E85, so let me tighten this up and see what it looks like. Alright, then you tighten it up until there ain't no air in the gaps there. Nice and tight. I reckon that's how you do that. I've never done it before, but it looks good to me. Let's shine some light on the subject. Yeah. I don't have AN wrenches. I use crescent wrenches, and I don't have a vise. But we're not here to make it look beautiful. We just want it to work. Alright, so that's it. So I might have to put all this stuff in the car and do some measuring and make my lines to fit from here to there, and then from here over to wherever I decide to mount this regulator at. I need to figure that out. So that's the next thing to do. Put the fuel rails on, and then try to figure out where to mount this fuel pressure regulator at. But I'm going to do that a different day because it just poured the rain, and when it rains it gets down in the cowl and on top of the motor. We have that tarp over it, but it looks like it may rain some more. I don't want to pull that tarp off there and then it rain and then me have to mess with that again. So tomorrow, if it's sunny, we'll put the torque converter bolts in, put the fuel rails on, take some measurements, and start hooking the fuel system up. Alright, I made the fittings and put it all on. There's the fuel rail, goes across the back. There's the feed and the return. Comes in right there at the back, then comes up here, over and back, then across to the regulator, and then the return comes out the bottom of the regulator. And that's pretty much it. I don't have these bolts right here, so I might have to figure out what size those are and go get 4 of those. And then I need to tighten this one up. It's not tight yet. Need to get those bolts in there before I tighten that one. I kind of got to hold this and make sure it stays at that angle because the fuel line comes through here. Wop, wop. Yeah, I'll get those bolts tomorrow. Bolt those down, tighten this up, then we'll throw the wiring harness on it. Alright, there we go. Got the fuel rails all bolted down. Those are an M6x1 bolt, I think. I got mine like 3/4 inches long, but that's a little bit too long, but they fit. But yeah, it's all in. Just need to tighten this up. I gotta hold this and tighten that at the same time. And then ordered a starter. I'm waiting for that to come in. Then I just need a throttle cable and a throttle bracket. It's done. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over the wiring. I'm going to take stuff out of the wiring that I'm not going to use because this is going to be speed density. It's not going to use the O2 sensors or anything. But there you go, guys. That's the fueling system. Going to be kind of hard to get to the set screw for the fuel pressure gauge, but we only need to set that once, so that's fine. Y'all like and subscribe. Have a great day.